It's Sunday again, and once more we have another game lined up. An unusual looking army this time. Go through that in a sec. First up, it's the battle line mission. Just because we're playing a new army, it's like pretty much what we do when we have a new army going. I was on eBay and managed to pick up a pretty good deal on a wood elf army. Something I always fancy trying, just to add to my long list of things I need to paint. But this was definitely on the bottom of that list. So someone asked me, or put a comment a few days ago, like saying like I should paint my Empire army. Unfortunately, that's one above this one on the list of things to paint. Actually working on the Orcs and Goblins at the moment. So and need to finish the Vampire counts as well. So those are my actual painting projects. So I apologise for all the unpainted stuff that I do use, but it's on the list. Anyway, so we're playing 2,500 points, and Wood Elves against Sized Daemons. Size never played against Wood Elves, and I've never played Wood Elves, so this should be quite an interesting game. Although I don't hold much hope. So I'll run you through my army. So I have a Great Eagle. It's actually one of the Hobbit miniatures for the Great Eagles. I think they're really nice. We have 10 Glade Guard in my improvised wood that you get free for playing Wood Elves. I have 5 Glade Riders, 8 Dryads, 10 Glade Guard in the tower. All the Glade Guard units have just like 10 strong with a musician, that's it. We have a Tree Man, who's one of the Lord of the Rings Ents, with a face that's been green stuffed on, which looks pretty good.
So he doesn't look like Thomas the Tank Engine.
Yeah. Unfortunately the face on the Ents is not the most fear-invoking kind of expression on it. So we've got 10 more Glade Guard, 8 more Dryads, 8 War Dancers with the level 4 in, who's using the Law of Athel Lauren. Doesn't seem like the best lore in the world, but I thought I might as well give it a try in the first game. So she's level 4. We have 5 not Glade Riders, Wild Riders, 10 more Glade Guard with the BSB. Then we have 8 more Dryads, a Branch Wraith, 5 Glade Riders, an Altar Kindred, so Noble, 6 Glade Guard Scouts, who I've deployed there just because I couldn't really get anywhere decent for them to go because size spread out quite nicely, and then another Great Eagle. So spell wise, I got some of the most devastating spells I've ever seen. Fury of the Forest, the Hidden Path, Call of the Hunt, and Ariel's Blessing. So been rocking Si's world with those, hopefully. So that's it. So I'll just hand you over to Si, see what he's got.
Okay, this is the unchanged army from last week. I'll run you through it again. I have 6 Seekers. I have my Keeper of Secrets with the Law of Shadow. Did kind of think that if I was playing Wood Elves against Wood Elves, I might take the Law of Slanesh, but might try that next time. But yeah, I'm sticking with Shadow for the time being. I have a unit of 30 Demonettes, and then the BSB. Then I have a unit of 5 Zinch Flamers. They are actually the real Flamer models. I dug them out. Currently one of the few models in the army. I've got a large box of unassembled bits, including the unassembled skull cannon. I'm going to have to get those put together when I get the time, when I'm not playing Star Wars or working weekends. Then I have another unit of 30 Demonettes with a Herald, an Exalted Seeker Chariot over there on the side, and another Skull Cannon of Khorne. So that was my army. I finished deploying first, got a +1 and 1 dice off. So we'll see you at the end of Demons turn 1. In quite an impressive hark back to last week's game, it pretty much almost exactly the same thing happened. Everyone surged forward, as you can see. Everyone moved up. Then in the magic phase, I managed to roll a 4, thus reducing my ward save. Ollie managed to channel, and he had an ability that gave an extra dispel dice. So ended up with more dispel dice than I had power dice. So I had nothing. Then in the shooting phase, the first cannon took a shot at the eagle, hit it, but rolled a 1 to wound. And then in exactly the same thing that happened last week, the other cannon shot, misfired, and blew itself up. So yeah, pretty bad. Is basically it. So yeah, about the worst possible turn a Demons and Chaos army can have. So yeah, let's see whether it hopefully gets better next time. So we'll get back to you at the end of Wood Elves turn 1.
Okay, it's the end of Wood Elves turn 1, and off the sides of a rather impressive turn. I thought I should try and match it somehow. Fortunately, I was unable to. So I had a reasonably good turn for what little I did. But I didn't kill any of my own things, so that was quite good. Right, so my World Riders moved up, as is my Altar Kindred and my Eagle. These guys just moved around the side of the Seekers. Glade Guard moved back. These guys just moved a little bit, not really much. These guys just moved, just in case these guys ever needed to flee. Stay in the tower, stay where they were. These guys just moved over here. Oh, and the other Great Eagle moved up beside of that chariot, just to get in his grill. And that was pretty much it. The magic phase, I actually got 9 dice after a channel as well. And obviously made the most of it with such an impressive lore as Athel Lauren. Started off my opening gambit. I remember choosing Oratory Man Ancient. So naively neglected to dispel it, and I managed to move this forest back 3 inches. Yeah. Yeah. So after saving his dispel dice for one of my lesser spells, I then threw him a curveball and attempted to cast some other spell. I don't remember what it was. Yeah, I don't even know. I think it was Ariel's Blessing, which obviously gives regen to these guys. And he foolishly dispelled that, which left me another window open to cast Fury of the Forest, which I found out is out of range of everything. So then I went for, I don't even know what it was. Oh, no, I don't know.
I think you ended your magic
I've only just ended my magic phase, yeah. Yeah, so pretty epic. Although the spells on paper look really, really good, or slightly good, in practice they're pretty useless. Yeah, so that was in the magic phase anyway. Although it was a better magic phase than I had, so I can't really knock that. So, yep. Then the shooting phase, which is when it all happened. I fired at these guys with the scouts and the glade riders, managed to kill 3 of them. These guys peppered away at these guys, killed a couple of them, I think about 4, as with these. And these guys fired into them and actually killed 5 by themselves, which was nice. These guys fired into them and managed to plink off another one. So, yeah, I'm reducing his numbers by a little bit. Hopefully it'll be enough by the time he gets to me. So, that's the end of Wood Elves turn 1.
Okay, it's the end of Demons turn 2. Everyone moved up a bit. This unit of Demon and Demonettes tried to charge the Scouts, who elected to turn and flee. And then to cap it off, I rolled a double 1 for their charge range, and they moved forward an inch. The Flamers moved up and around to try and shoot. The Chariot and the other unit of Demonettes just moved up, and the cannon positioned itself to try and shoot the Eagle. In the magic phase, I managed to roll a 7 and get a channel. Then basically did nothing. Ollie dispelled my first attempt, and then I failed to cast the second. What else happened? Yeah, that was pretty much it for the magic phase. Then, what happened? It's going so well. So many things happened. I forgot. Oh yes, the cannon tried to shoot the eagle. Thankfully, didn't misfire. Although I did roll a misfire on the artillery dice. Thankfully for the bounce range. So yeah, it just moved forward 6 and thudded into ground in front of the eagle. So pretty pathetic there. Yeah, then the other part of the shooting phase, these guys shot at the what? Sorry, Wild Riders, and I managed to kill 3, which was quite nice. It was pretty good considering I rolled really low and needed 60 to hit. So yeah, that wasn't bad going. So yeah, I've finally managed to score some elves. So I need 1 or 2 more to win. And it's now on to the Wood Elf turn 2.
Okay, it's the end of Wood Elves turn 2, and quite optimistic. So movement wise, well, there's loads of movement. The eagle moved in front of these demonettes. This one moved in front of the chariot, just to slow it down. These guys unfortunately failed their swift reform, so they had to stay in the wood. But they just reformed like that, just giving me a bit of a chance to flee away. These guys moved up, but I should have thought about it a bit more. I should have moved them up further, just because what's the point in firing my 5 bows at his cannon from hell and the 8 wound chariot from hell? So should have just moved them up and done something else with them. That was a bit of a mistake. These guys moved out of the building, just getting short range with these guys. These guys moved into the building. These guys just reformed, just making, I don't know, just look good. The tree man stayed where it was, as the other cannon's still alive and kicking. One of the Grey Guard units just moved up here, just to get in short range as well. These guys stay in the wood. The Altar Kindreds, not fancying the double wounding demon, the Keeper of Secrets, decided to just move back in the forest and wait for another opportunity. The scouts rallied. That's pretty much it. And then the magic phase. The Wild Riders moved up here, just the outer sight of the Keeper of Secrets, and just trying to keep out of range of these guys. Not really sure what to do with them really. Obviously, without their ward save and all that jazz, they're just not that useful at the moment. Anyway, so that was it. So the magic phase, rolled 6, 4 to Sai, 6 to me. He got a channel, cast regen on the Dryades in the tower. Might be useful. Then all my other spells were out of range, so I didn't bother casting anything else. I think I might try to cast True Singing actually, but he dispelled it. 3 dice to 3. So that was it. And then the shooting phase, these guys and the Glade Riders fired at these, so reduced them down to 1. These Glade Guard managed to actually kill 5 of these in short range, which is really good. These guys did nothing to the chariot. Then in the middle here, between the 3 Glade Guard units, 2 in short range, 1 in long range, and the BSB with his Ascendi's Bane, which allows me to reroll to hit, and the Hail of Doom Arrow, which I got 13 for. Managed to kill a fair chunk of demonettes. There's only 10 of those left with the Herald now, so that's looking pretty good. So very happy about that. Yeah, so that was a pretty successful turn, I think. And obviously with the eagle there, that should slow him down a bit further as well. So that was the end of Wood Elves turn 2. So.
Okay, it's the end of Daemons turn 3. The Flamers moved up, as did everyone else. Declared a charge with the Demonettes and the Exalted Seeker Chariot on the Way Watchers and the Eagle, respectively. And then, as you can see, they ran off the board. Well, so they chased their respective opponents off the board, which is slightly annoying because that means that they come on basically in that position, which is a bit bad for me. So yeah, there's not particularly much I can do there. Then in the magic phase, I rolled a 6. Thankfully managed to pass the test for them. Because basically Nurgle was having a go at the Zinch guys. Then Ollie dispelled my miasma. Then I got Penumbral Pendulum, rolled massive distance, but both the Eagle and 2 of my Demonettes passed their initiative test, so it was alright. Then in the shooting phase, they slaughtered the Eagle that was in front of them, and then this managed to kill one of the Dryads in the tower. So yeah, it's proving quite difficult to get hold of the Wood Elves. Having removed enough of their the sort of crap and redirectors, I can actually start getting at his army. However, my own is quite nastily reduced, and I haven't got enough of my forces on the board at the moment to deal with the threat. So yeah, we'll have to see what this unit of 11 guys can do. So yeah, we will see what happens in Wood Elves turn 3.
Okay, it's the end of Wood Elves turn 3. Now this turn I charged the Dryad with the Branch Wraith into his flank and the Tree Man into the front. Everything else is just kind of moved as you see it. These guys turn around to just take some pot shots at the Great Demon, relying on the Glade Guard to actually take down that, the Glade Riders, to take down the last Seeker. The BSB moved into the War Dancers, and the Spell Singer, is it Spell Singer or whatever the other one, the Lord level one, moved into the building. Spell Weaver, I think. And these guys just moved up by the side of the cannon, just wanted something better to do. I actually forgot about the Wild Riders, but that's my fault. So that was it. Then the magic phase, managed to cast Call of the Hunt on these guys to give them +1 attack. But so I dispelled the regen I tried to cast on them. So that was it. Then the shooting phase, I fired these 3 units of Glade Guard into the Flamers, managed to kill 3 of them. These guys managed to kill the Seeker. These guys unfortunately did nothing to the Great Demon. These guys actually managed to plink a wound against all the odds off the cannon, which was nice. And that was pretty much it. And then in close combat, I issued a challenge with a Branch Wraith. He declined with his Herald, probably wisely, because as we found out, the Branch Wraith is actually higher initiative than him, so he wouldn't have got his rerolls, although he still would have went first. And I managed to kill pretty much most of the unit, until he managed to kill 1 Branch Wraith. Unfortunately, just did nothing to the Tree Man. So I won the combat, and although he rolled a 3, it still wasn't enough, and he lost the unit. So, and that was it. So, no, it would have been exactly enough, wouldn't it? There's only 3 guys left.
No, because I didn't take other models out after the Thunderstorm, because you did 4 wounds with the Thunderstorm that got through.
Yeah.
And I saved 3. Well, I saved 1 of them.
Yeah. Unfortunately, Si was so keen to take his unit off rather than taking off individually. He may have still had 1 left.
No, well, that was enough to pop, because it would have left before the leadership test. It would have just left the BSB with 1 wound.
Oh right.
And yeah.
Yeah, all right. So you failed by 1. Yeah.
She popped it.
Okay. All right. So it wasn't him being over anxious. He was vindicated with his. Yeah. So he rolled a 3, but he only had 1 wound left on his Herald anyway. So his Herald died. Yeah. So that's it. That's the end of Wood Elves turn 3. So looking pretty good. Obviously these guys are going to come on, but they're quite delayed now. So get some points out of those as well, I reckon. Not sure how yet. That's it. So that's the end of Wood Elves turn 3.
It's Chaos turn 4. Yeah, Chaos turn 4. And right, the Demon has moved up. because he's no more use anymore, really, behind a barn. As a Lord of Shadow is pretty useless in this situation. These guys finally got their arse back into the game. Were very limited in what they could do. Let me see. Yeah, the cannon just moved forward. Then magic phase. Well, I managed to get Melkoffs off there. That was it. Shooting phase. I killed a dryad. The cannon again failed to do anything. Shooting at the 3-man. And that basically was the turn. A very lame turn. Yeah, so that's the end of Daemons turn 4.
Okay, it's the end of Wood Elves turn 4. Is it turn 4? Yeah, it's turn 4. Right, so the scouts move around the side. They pass their swift reform. These guys just move around the side as well. Just everything moved over his arc of sight, including the altar kindred. These guys stay where they are. Just didn't want to block their lanes of fire, just in case they got to fire at the Great Demon. These guys, BSB moved into this unit. The Dryads and the Spellsinger moved out into just there. The War Dancers moved into the building. The Treeman moved back. Didn't fancy eating another cannonball. Not that they did this time, but didn't like the look of it. These guys pretty much stay where they were. The Skulltaker fell over, and that wasn't my fault. And these guys just moved up there. So and then magic phase. I attempted to cast regen on these guys, so I dispelled it, and I cast Call of the Hunt to give them +1 attack, which got through. Then I was going to cast Tree Singing, but I couldn't be asked. Then that was pretty much it. Then in the shooting phase, these fired at the flamers, did a couple of wounds. These did a couple of wounds. He had one left, so I'd commit this unit as well. Managed to take him off. So he's dead now. And then between these guys, they did nothing to the Great Demon. And that's pretty. Oh, these guys shot at the chariot, managed to plink a wound off of it. So only 7 to go. And that was it. So it's the end of Wood Elves turn 4.
Right, after the this is the end of Demons turn 5. Yeah, sorry. Basically, the Demonettes charged. Everyone else moved up. The Greater Demon moved around. Magic phase. I just Occamsed those guys with 6 dice. Then in the shooting phase, the cannon attempted to snipe this guy and proved to be yet again utterly ineffectual by misfiring. Although this time, it amazingly, didn't blow up the cannon. It just couldn't fire this turn. So yeah, I managed to get away with it. So that's the 5th misfire I've rolled, because I rolled 1 every turn. So yeah, it's going well. So look, yeah.
Didn't kill an eagle?
No. That was shooting and chasing the other eagle off with from the feet.
Oh yeah.
So it tried to kill an eagle, failed miserably. Right, okay. In close combat, 10 Occam's Demonettes failed to kill these guys. Annoyingly, I rolled relatively badly. Well, to be fair,
I got like 9 wounds. That was pretty good cannon.
I thought I got 8 wounds.
No, you got 9 because I passed 2 water.
Oh yes, of course, yeah, yeah. So not so great, but unfortunately, yeah.
One's still alive.
Yes, annoyingly. So yeah, and I was beaten basically by the frigging stupid building rules. So yeah. So I was denied even my pleasure of killing a unit. So yeah, that's basically it really. Not going particularly well. I've lost. Is the TLDR. So we shall wrap it up in the next few goes.
Okay, it's the end of Wood Elves turn 5. The Dryads will move around in a kind of semicircle, just kind of deal with this guy should he come at them. Old Kindred's just shadowing him, just a bit annoying. Unfortunately, I moved my Glade Riders in front of my scouts, which wasn't the best idea. But these guys just moved in the forest, just so I can get some shots off at him. These guys just turned around to shoot him. They failed their swift reform, so they just turned around to face the cannon. So these guys didn't bother, they just turned around as well, rather than trying to swift reform away. I obviously left things out of the building. Tree man moved around, so maybe get a charge on these. Which was my plan in the magic phase, didn't quite work out that way though. And these guys just moved up by the cannon. Then in the magic phase, I got another big one. This time I made use of some of my spells because I'm actually in range. I cast the Hidden Path on my tree man to make him immune to cannonball shots. And then I cast the 4-up regen on him as well. And then I attempted to cast Call of the Hunt to get a free charge into his Demonettes. Unfortunately, he dispelled that. So he's wise to that already. Even though I've never actually used it. But so that was it for the magic phase. And then in the shooting phase, these guys obviously need like 6s to hit the Greater Demons, failed to hit. These guys did nothing, and nor did these guys against him either. Cast Strangle Roots, killed a couple of Demonettes. And then my Glade Guard here, and the Glade Riders actually managed to take 3 wounds off the cannon.
That's 4.
No, because it had a wound on it already.
Yeah, and it's
only got 4 wounds, isn't it?
Oh right.
It's 9 blasts, it's got 5.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it had like a 3-up armour, 5-up ward, and he failed a lot of them, so it died. So yeah, so that was pretty bloody lucky, really, or unlucky, depending on how you look at it for Sai. But yeah, so that's the end of my turn 5.
Okay, it's the end of Demon's turn 5. The guy just moved up to use his breath weapon, and I just entered the building with the Demonettes, and the chariot moved up a bit. So yeah, basically magic phase, we're all level 1. Passed all my demonic instability tests, so I've had 4 negative results. Yeah, so that was that. Then I tried to cast Penumbral Pendulum, but rolled a 3. Needed a 9+ to try and cast it. So yeah, with that, I went on to shooting. So I cast my breast weapon and did 2 wounds, killed 2 dudes. That was it, basically. It was actually one of the more successful phases I had. Which yeah, just goes to show how bloody badly this has gone for me. So yeah, that's basically it. So we'll go on to the last turn of the game, which will be Wood Elves turn 6.
Okay, it's the end of Wood Elves turn 6. Thought I'd be a bit sporting, do some charging, instead of just shooting him. So I charged my Dryads here with the Branch Wraith and the other Dryads into him. My Altar Kindred into the back. Charged the Tree Man into the tower. And then the magic phase, managed to cast Regen on these guys, and also the +1 attack from Call of the Wild, or Call of the Hunt, or whatever it's called. They're +1 attack anyway. Then that was pretty much it. He dispelled Tree Sigig, which really hurt me there. I'm not sure what I'm going to do about that next time. Obviously going to have to bring more guys that can cast Tree Sigig, because I can really spam it. Yeah. Then in the shooting phase between all these guys, they managed to do a further 4 wounds to this. Still had 3 left, so it didn't happen. Nothing here really did anything. Then in close combat, the True Man went in, killed a fair few. They managed to wound to him. So he won the combat, but he passed his stubborn 7. Stubborn 8. And then this combat, my Altar Kindred unfortunately got slaughtered because he does double wounds, so he didn't get to use his it's the Stone of Rebirth or something. Gives him a 2-up ward if he gets reduced to 1 wound, but that just outright killed him, so he didn't actually get to use it. Then he thunderstomped a couple of Dryads. I in return, I didn't do anything to him. So this whole game he hasn't taken any wounds, even though we had a rather lengthy conversation about how crap Great Demons are. Now they don't have armour or anything. This one's sucking it up. So yeah, so these guys fled, these guys held, and that was pretty much it. And that's where the game ended. So a victory to Wood Elves, I believe. The sides lost a sizable amount of points. And I lost, I don't know, I lost about, in fact I only lost the Eagles and the Alt Kindred. Everything else is just partial.
What, about 350?
That's 244 points, I think you got. Yeah, probably shouldn't have told that. But yeah, so I did actually win by a fair amount. But I think it's always going to be tricky for him because it's the system shock, I think, of just playing a different army. I mean, this is obviously a very different army to the ones we normally play. We normally both like a big horde, a big punch up in the middle. Whereas these guys don't even want to get into close combat. I mean, even this combat was like just for a laugh. I certainly wouldn't have done that any other time. The one here against the Daemons was fair enough because, you know, I'd reduced them in quite a lot, you know, by a sizable amount, and there was no support for them anyway, so I might as well just thrown everything in anyway. Which took them out. The Tree Man was obviously a pretty good matchup against these guys. He was very lucky not to eat a cannonball, but then we are talking about size cannons who can't shoot even trees. But yeah, he had some horrendous luck with his cannons, just horrendous. But I think that maybe that's the thing, because I've had some pretty bad luck since I've been started to use cannons. And in 40k we always used to have a problem with plasma blowing up. So it's no different, is it? Like they might as well just be plasma cannons. So yeah, so we've always had horrendous luck. Anything that says don't roll a 1 is, you know, it's just like it's just not good. So, but yeah, I think I wouldn't say it was the most enjoyable game we've ever had. I think Size mentally has a problem with chaff, and this is an army of chaff, so it's always going to be a struggle. But it's just not that satisfying crunch that you have when two hordes meet in the middle of the battlefield and there's a big old fight. This is just like, it's always going to be a bit anticlimactic, I think.
Yeah, you don't feel like you've done anything, do
you? Yeah, because I mean, you know, like quite a lot went on this game, but so little died of mine.
You kind of, you hard pressed to kind of. There's no kind of memorable thing. Like you'll always remember, the Savages winning and smashed, or
yeah,
unit of Night Goblins.
It's always more fun when a horde kills something.
Yeah.
I think there's not really anything that happened that was. My magic was pretty well. That I think that's just that law's written. I like the law, but because of the range issues on it, and because my army's so spread out, it's never what you need when you need it. So I'm not a big fan of that. The shooting was really good. I'm amazed that I managed to kill that skull cannon in just like 3 wounds to it in a round of shooting. That was pretty incredible. But yeah, there wasn't really anything that memorable going on. The Hail of Doom arrow was pretty memorable for me. I quite like that.
Yeah, that was.
We killed like 9. Yeah, that was really good. But yeah, it was certainly an interesting army to play. I was going to try an MSU style army, so it was debatable. I certainly won't be using it too often. I think it's the same kind of deal with dwarves really. They only do one thing, and maybe not that fun to play against depending on what army you're playing. You know, like ogres don't like dwarves. Demons probably be all right against dwarves, but it's one of those things. Yeah, so I think plan wise, unfortunately, I think writing was on the wall the second his big horde went down here. So I just put most of my army over here and decided just to focus on one of his demonette units and took it out, and that's where my points were going to come from. And then I was just going to dance around and be annoying after that. His Great Demon was going to be a problem, but I just thought I'll just dance around that as well. Every now and again he's going to chew a unit up, but like I say, there's not one unit other than the Spell Weaver or the Tree Man that's actually worth more than 150 points in the whole army, so I don't really mind giving him a couple of units just to keep him happy, because the points of those demonettes was well worth just losing a few units for. But yeah, in the end, I mean, we could have got his cannon, his demonettes, you know, all through shooting really. It wasn't the close combat. There's only these that just finished those off. but there's only 10 of them. So, and because he's not getting the re-rolls against my Dryads because they're initiative 6, that does hurt him quite significantly. So, yeah, I think really for me the man of the match is probably just the Clay Guard. They did the most work. Just all the units between them, they were pretty much the workhorse of the army. Everything else did pretty rubbish. I think the duffers of the match got to be the Wild Riders, who did jack. They just went for a wild ride, just around the board. Didn't really do anything. Yeah. Oh, the War Dancers made a pretty good account of themselves, considering he had Occam's Mind Razor. The fact that one survived was pretty big. I think a special mention has to go to Tree Singing, which obviously I couldn't have won the game without it. So I should certainly be spamming that more often. I think the only thing overpowered about the Wood Elf army really is the Free Forests. You can pretty good. Kind of slows things down. Oh no, it doesn't do that, does it? Kind of blocks line of sight. Yeah, okay. Yeah, so Wood Elves, I think they as a conventional army, they're just not that good. Obviously, just being so outdated. But really, they are the counter for the big hordes, because you can just dance around them and just be annoying. And particularly with the Demonette horde, who are relatively squishy, so you can actually chew them up. So so they're kind of like I don't know, they're sort of in their renaissance, sort of come back just based on the current meta, I think. Obviously, some armies they're not going to perform very well against, but in this case they did. But I think that's mainly due to size and experience against them. And I did a fair bit of research on how to use them. And I liked the MSU style, so I just wanted to try it. But as far as satisfying Sunday night games go, this is not really the army for that. But maybe I'll try it again. But I do like Orc Smash, really. So, but yeah, fun game. I enjoyed it. I don't think Side enjoyed it as much, although he probably appreciated the experience. But I'll hand you over to him and see what he really thinks.
Yeah, it wasn't a bad game. I did find parts of it a little boring. I must admit I just prefer to get down to it. I did have a plan, which involved trying to press him backwards as I kind of figured he might. Well, the trouble is like I must admit I did absolutely zero research into what to do against Wood Elves, and so I kind of went into this not knowing anything. They surprised me quite a lot. Very, very high initiative troops, which I must admit I didn't expect at all. You play Slanesh to have some of the highest initiative in the game. For once I didn't. That was quite a shock. Also very high weapon skill here and there as well, which I didn't quite expect either. But yeah, I would have expected it from the Elves, but not from the other stuff. But yeah, I know better now. My overall plan essentially was to press him backwards, because I could see that he had multiple things stacked behind one another. I was hoping I could press him up, push him into come around here and try and make a push at the flank and at the side, and then try and catch enough of his stuff to really kind of mess him up. Unfortunately, it didn't quite go that way. I think one of the big problems was, like Ollie pointed out, was deployment, where we had this as impassable. So really what I should have done was I should have thought better as to where I was going. Probably actually deployed my 2 units here, and then I think I could have, at the very worst, he would have still been able to whittle stuff down, but he would have had to.
Another thing I think you could have looked at as well, because of the obviously deployment problems, you didn't necessarily have to deploy them as a horde either, because that front rank is going to be enough to tear up any one of these units. And plus, if you got flanked, you'd have better survivability in the flanks as well.
Yeah. I mean, I really what I should have done, was probably maybe even have one horde and one sort of bigger unit and try and bring the horde in and around. But the horde is almost overkill in this situation. I mean, it like it says, if it gets into a unit on its own on a charge, it should rip it up. However, it was tough to manoeuvre. It's sort of one of those things where I think really what I needed to do was to sort of either a rapid pincer attack with some very fast moving stuff, because the times I did get him were over here when he just couldn't outrun me because of my charge distances. But then that tended to impact negatively because I of course ran off the board, which meant that these guys weren't anywhere where they needed it. I needed that Seeker Chariot to come down the flank along with that unit of Daemonettes and sort of sweep around here while the rest of the guys sort of went up and really forced him back, because I think once I can get into that first unit and start wiping them out and overrunning, I think then I would have been able to start gleaning more points, and it would start becoming increasingly more difficult for Ollie to outmaneuver me and get away, because with such getting him packed up and leaving him nowhere to run, I should have always been able to target him. So that kind of was my plan, but I should have thought about it a bit more during deployment, I think. It's very interesting actually, because having him deploy all of his stuff, like next to pretty much his entire army after me deploying, it's pretty interesting, because you've really got to, against an army like this, you've really got to think where everything of yours is going to go and where everything of his possibly can go to counter, and then just have to expect it. So it's a bit of a tough one. I think for me, probably the man of the match were the Flamers, who killed the Eagle, mauled these guys a bit. They just did stuff. They actually they were good, but the trouble is that they're very expensive. I mean, 43 points for a 2-wound model with that suffers from move or shoot. I mean, or multiple shots. I mean, it's terrible. I think really they've suffered a horrendous nerf compared to how they used to be. I mean, even lead belchers, you're paying the same amount of points, but you get. I think
Flames are only 40, 43.
Yeah, but for that 3 points, I get one extra. I get 1 wound. I get the ability to ignore multiple shots. So I only ever suffer from moving or from.
Warp flame either.
No, and warp flame is a pretty nasty thing as well. They're they are kind of necessary. You need a way of removing chaff, and they seem to be excuse me, the only thing really this book has got. The cannons were abysmal. I don't think any of the cannons did anything in the entire game. Having shot at least one cannon all the way through 5 turns, to have it misfire every time.
With a dryad with a cannon. I think that's all that died from cannons.
Ah yes, yeah, I got a dryad. Yes. It's a bit. They were terrible. I mean, the cannons were always going to suffer against wood elves anyway. But what I really should have thought of was to just have them as support chariots, because I'm going to mess smaller units like those guys up. And in theory, I should have had a pretty good chance of resisting their bow fire. So really, the cannons should have been used as support units for the Daemonettes. I think shadow magic is a bit of pointless overkill. I mean, if you really think about it, probably Daemonettes are not necessary. Just you could go with several small units of like 20 corn bloodletters, something like that have got nice hard hitting power, especially on the charge, yet can still deal it out. It's nice to have always strikes first and stuff like that, but they've got hatred and killing blow and stuff like that, so they're quite capable of handing it out as well. And certainly, demons need to get into close combat, and this is a very tough army to get into close combat with. Yeah. Cheers. It was an interesting game in terms of exposing frailties, but yeah, I must admit it wasn't particularly fun in places. We obviously had a good laugh on that, and it's not a problem. But it's not one of those.
Personally, I didn't enjoy it as much as other armies.
No,
it felt like playing 40k in a way.
Yeah.
Obviously there's a hell of a lot of manoeuvring and stuff like that. But it just wasn't that satisfying crunch when two hordes meet.
Yeah, like I said before, there's nothing really other than your boast, that arrow shot, that magical arrow shot that killed 9 demonettes. Wasn't really anything majorly spectacular. Crazy, it's just
combats I wasn't particularly lucky on or anything. It was just thinking away.
Yeah.
Shooting that cannon was ridiculous.
Oh yeah, that was. Well, that was my inability.
My shoot was average, but your saves were really bad.
Yeah. Because to be fair, your shoot, like your first round of shooting, was pretty friggin' abysmal.
Yeah.
And then it picked up, and it was there was never anything disgusting. It was only like maybe 1-2 above average wounds every time. But it wasn't anything spectacular. But it kind of. I keep thinking back, if anyone watches the UFC, they're like the Michael Bisping of they have no knockout power. They're pillow fisted. They just sit and chip away until the enemy's got nothing left, and then overwhelm them. And that's a pretty accurate description of what happened here. Unfortunately, I couldn't get a roundhouse kick to the head and knock them out. But I shall have to think of a way of getting around that. So next time I might play Skaven. just turn it on its head and sort of see what happens. Because obviously Skaven have got quite a lot of ways of dealing with chaff. I don't know about that.
Plus you've got the numbers, haven't you? You've got the amount of units to corner me.
Yeah.
Because this at the moment, you've just got 2 hordes, so I can just dance around them all day long.
Yeah, you'll struggle to dance around sort of 5 or 6 units, sort of steaming at you.
The usual wall, just move it forward. What am I going to do?
Yeah, it's impossible to dodge. So yeah, it's been interesting. Not a classic game, but it's always good. So yeah, we'll see what next week brings. So we will see you then.